one question we like to ask as a through line is advice for, artists who are looking to get in the sync space. What one piece of advice would you tell them?
Well, we talked about a couple of things. I think getting a sync agent is super important because there's so much music out there. I don't have time to walk someone through the process. Occasionally, I do find these songs that I just find on Spotify and I do track them down and I do license them. But because of the timeline, I think having a sync agent is really great. I love disco. Disco is a platform I'm sure you've talked about. Really changed the game for me because now I can organize my songs. Your metadata has to be precise. And clear if you have co-writes and you having your paperwork and all your signed paperwork in place, because I don't want to hear, even from someone that I work with all the time, I don't want to hear like, uh-oh, that's a problem. Like, oh, there's another writer on that song. I mean, I have had that happen. Oh, you know what? That person was with this person and then they signed to Warner Chappell. And then I had to call Warner Chappell out and explain the situation. And it could go really south if you don't have those relationships in place. In this case, they were very gracious and helpful and let us move through with the usage. But, having all your ducks in order. So you have to have your metadata. You have to make sure you have all your songwriters, co-writers signed off on. Preferably, I like, someone that has a sync agent. What else? And if you are pitching your own songs, not pitching too many songs to me. If I get like more than 10 songs if I am giving you a brief or I'm asked, if I get more than 10 songs is way too many. Like really curate it to maybe 3 to 5 songs. And sometimes 6, you can't, if you really, songs like The Way Home, songs about home. I was using a lot of songs about home, or I was listening to songs about home. We didn't really use that many, but I was interested in the idea because the show is called The Way Home, but not sending too many.
Yes. Now, correct, depending on who you speak to.
And every music supervisor is different, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You can talk to 10 music supervisors, you will get 10 different answers.
Yes, I was going to say that because some music supervisors I know, they'll say, go through the sync agent or go to a Blue Buddha, because otherwise you can get bombarded, and if you're getting hit up by a bunch of indie artists, you're like, well, I already have my go-tos on the sync and one stop. So,
but there's so many more sync agents now, which it must be really challenging for you. I mean, when I started, there was a handful or 2 handfuls, and now every day I get like a new sync. I'm like, who's this? I mean, literally today in my emails, a new one came in and I'd never heard of them.
So yeah, to your point, I remember in your way back, it was Danny Bonaire, you had Format, you had, so to your point, there comes a point where you're like, unless they have something where they're saying, hey, I've got back catalog from a label that interests you, correct? You may keep them in your back pocket, whether you need to reach out to them or you'll say,
Sometimes I just like people that I like working with and they're fast, and sometimes people don't send me the songs that seem on target. Like there's some people that you're kind of music supervising in a way as a sync agent because you're listening. And then if I continue to get things that are sent from someone that seem really off, I might not go to them. And then some people I know I've had really great success getting singer-songwriter from them. I've had other sync agents that have had like 50s, 60s, 70s music that have been really fantastic. So I try, I have a running list, and I, update and put new people in and try to keep it fresh, but also, like friends, old and new, and keep it fresh, because trust is a really important part, because if something goes wrong and I'm on that mix stage, and you have to have everything signed up before you even get to the mix stage, but the mere fact that you really need someone to help, I find, walk you through the process.
Yes, no, 100%. And thanks for that, Jen. Just to on the side closing and to add that as far as exclusivity, because I'm seeing the trend now. A lot of artists, I tell them, we need to go exclusive. So Jen's not getting hit up from 5 sync agencies pitching your same songs.
It used to be a lot of people weren't exclusive. I like it that they're more exclusive now because I know that I am getting it from one person. But when I do get it from more than one person, I usually, whoever sent it to me that I actually listened to it from, I use that one because I mean, even if someone sent it to me 3 or 6 months before, I have to make that decision. And that's sort of how I did it. Maybe 6 months ago, I never even listened to it, but it's in my system. And that I had gotten it today or this week from you. And so then I'll go, that's the way I figure out how to do it. Because I have people come back and say, oh, that's my song. And I'm like, well, it's hard. It's like,
Yeah.
which kid's your favorite?
Right. Right.
They're all right. So, but the thing is that I'm finding more and more people are exclusive.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise it puts you in a pickle, so to speak, where
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the last thing, folks want to do is put you in a spot and then so but no, I mean that said, I think, with all the content, like you said, there's so many shows, so many productions, so due diligence, do your homework, you know who your sync agent and who you're going to approach. And then if they do approach you directly, is have your ducks in a row.